Today on Public Eye News, Marquette School District sees an increase in COVID-19 cases and plans the budget for next year. NMU students fail to follow COVID-19 guidelines and risk PEEF closure.
Later, Adam will have your weather for the weekend and Scott will have your sports update. Hello, I'm Caden Minus.
And I'm Scott Minshall, and this is Public Eye News. They switched the cameras too early there. You see that? The Marquette Area Public School Board has announced a rise in COVID-19 cases at their most recent meeting. The board discussed the loss of revenue caused by the pandemic and strategized how to move forward with the budget issue and the rise in virus cases. As of this morning, there are 9 confirmed cases in students and 1 probable case. At this time, there are no new cases with staff members of the district. As a result of the new cases, many students have been forced to quarantine and learn virtually for the next 2 weeks. The Board of Education is set to meet again on April 19th. The Center for Native American Studies began showing its new exhibit, Murdered and Missing Indigenous Women, yesterday and will display it for the rest of this week. The exhibit will feature a red dress installation, a healing event, a ribbon skirt making workshop, among other things. The purpose of the event is to bring attention to the MMIW movement, which highlights the higher rate of violence facing Native American women more than any other demographic of people. Amber Morso, director of CNAS, said the red dress installation is a must-see and recommends if you're going to see something this week, make it that. Beginning this week, schools across Michigan must offer at least 20 hours of in-person instruction per week in order to qualify for pandemic funding. The funding, which is $450 per student, is emergency money which has helped schools who have seen a loss of revenue get through the pandemic. The new law, which is being headed by state Republicans, is an effort to get children back to in-person education. As Republicans say, it is vital for kids to be in school for academic, social, and emotional reasons. While most school districts meet the requirement and are receiving their money, there are some that are missing out on millions of dollars, like the Ann Arbor Public School District, who have missed out on nearly $2 million because they have not met the in-person requirement.
A number of NMU students not complying with mask mandates in the PEEF may result in the facility being closed. Nate Jacobs from the North Wind reports that NMU President Fritz Erickson is concerned with the recent uptick in positive COVID-19 cases. 13 students are currently suspended from the PEEF for not following the mandate. This is a result of many changes being added to the facility to cooperate with the college's COVID-19 policy, including time reservations, social distancing, and equipment sanitation. The final call to close does not rely on the certain number of COVID cases and solely lies with President Erickson and the Safety Committee. A sampling of sewage from Clinton Township shows an increase in COVID-19 infection rates. This is not the only area that has seen a drastic increase in COVID cases. Positive cases in Macomb County has seen a 125% increase. According to Michigan's Chief Medical Executive John A. Caldone, COVID cases across the state have also seen a 77% increase in the past 4 weeks. After the release of these results, Macomb Public Works Commissioner Candace Miller stated, quote, "Unfortunately, our testing is showing that COVID cases will continue to climb into the next week," end quote. The pilot project started in June and is already found to detect the virus more accurately to determine community infection rates. The Wisconsin Department of Natural Resources is being called into question about a poorly planned wolf season by Chippewa tribal officials. The Chippewa consider the wolf sacred, and when state licensed hunters passed the quota of 119 by nearly 2 times that amount, they became concerned. The season was also held when female wolves were pregnant. Chairman of the Great Lakes Indian Fish and Wildlife Commission's Voy Intertribal Task Force, John D. Johnson, stated that the poor timing resulted in the ending of, quote, "entire future generations of wolves," end quote. Tribal leaders expect a seat at the table as the DNR changes its plans for wolf management this year. And don't touch that dial, because after this break, we'll be back with your national and international news.
I've been around the world, but there's one place I keep coming back to. On this episode of UTR, we defy your dentist and feature a bunch of places where you can get some pretty sweet treats. We'll make some candy, eat some candy, bag some candy, and talk to cool confectioners all across the state. Heck, we'll even show you some candy that'll blow your mind. This isn't Under the Radar. You just gotta see.
Thursday night at 9:30 on WNMU TV.
Welcome back. The gun used in the deadly shooting at a Colorado supermarket yesterday was purchased just 6 days ago by the suspect of the shooting. Police did not release where the suspect purchased the assault rifle. Details of the shooting are still emerging at this time, but as of now, there have been 10 people confirmed to have died as a result of the shooting, including a police officer. The Prime Minister of Australia has vowed to do more to attract women into politics as a sex scandal rocks the Australian government. The latest scandal involves a senior staff member who assaulted a staffer in the Prime Minister's office 2 years ago. Both political parties in Australia are now looking to adopt female quotas for their staff members.
A father has been arrested on suspicion of child endangerment after carrying his 2-year-old daughter into an elephant habitat at the San Diego Zoo. 25-year-old Jose Manuel Navarrete wanted to take a picture with a bull elephant and cross multiple barriers to do so. The elephants were not harmed. Navarrete is being held with $100,000 bail and is set to be arraigned on March 30. 3 members of a Russian bomber aircrew died on Tuesday when their ejection seats activated during a pre-flight check. The Russian Defense Ministry said that the incident occurred at the airbase in the Kaluga region of the country. The ministry also stated that the crew was preparing for a training mission when the ejection system malfunctioned and shot the crew into the air. There wasn't enough altitude for the parachutes to deploy, and 3 of the 4 members died from their injuries. The bomber in question was a Tu-22M3 bomber, and about 60 are still set to remain in service with the Russian Air Force. Voters in Israel are casting ballots for the 4th time in 2 years to potentially replace their embattled Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. He mired in the corruption scandal but successfully rolled out a COVID-19 vaccine program. Elizabeth Palmer is in Tel Aviv.
Israelis are emerging into a post-pandemic world, and the economy is fully open. In the Carmel market in Tel Aviv, business is good. At David's shawarma stand, we asked, who gets the credit?
We have the jab? Yeah.
The vaccine, he says,
Bibi.
and the Prime Minister.
Only Bibi.
Bibi is the local nickname for Benjamin Netanyahu, whose face during the campaign appeared right next to the official vaccination slogan, "Back to Life." But his opponents' banners remind everyone that Netanyahu remains on trial for serious fraud. He denies those charges, and back in January decided vaccinating everybody here was the key to re-election. He got the ball rolling fast, and it's worked. Yesterday, only 1 person died of COVID. Netanyahu gambled that defeating the virus would bring victory at the polls. Voters are coming this morning in a steady stream to deliver the verdict. But Netanyahu is facing huge opposition. Every Saturday night, massive demonstrations have filled the streets around his home in Jerusalem. His critics are furious about his alleged corruption and policies they say have embittered Israeli society.
So you don't think Netanyahu deserves credit for the vaccination?
Oh no. I think he deserves jail.
As you can see from the lineups behind me, voting is now well underway. The latest polls put Benjamin Netanyahu's chances of winning re-election as prime minister at about 50%. Elizabeth Palmer, CBS News, Tel Aviv.
Huge spring break crowds in Miami this weekend made national news as its mayor has now implemented a COVID curfew to gain control. Many Minnesotans have flocked to Florida for their own trips or plan to do so soon. Liz Collin has some safety advice from a travel consultant and talked to one local family days away from their own Florida getaway.
Some sunshine, some beach time.
The trip to Fort Myers, Florida has been in the works for months.
We're leaving Friday for spring break. I have a senior in high school who is definitely given up a lot in the last year.
Angie Wright of Woodbury and another mom will be flying with 5 high school seniors, still with COVID precautions, a part of the travel plan.
The nice thing about having an Airbnb is that we can have some of our own time in our own place, not as exposed to other people as well.
We were pretty cautious.
Our Tampa affiliate talked to 2 Minnesotans this past weekend, visiting some busy beaches.
We ended up double masking on the plane and stuff and tried not to touch too much. We brought our hand sanitizer and everything.
Within the U.S., Florida is the #1 that people are requesting.
As an A1 travel consultant, Monique Delve has booked more vacations in this country this spring break after the U.S. mandated a negative COVID test to be able to get back in. Delve believes looser restrictions in Florida are also playing a role, but that what happened around South Beach shouldn't deter your plans for a change of scenery, as long as you keep safety in mind.
I would say if you're not in college, stay away from Miami. But I don't think that means you have to take the whole state off the map.
And the girls mentioned how they would love to go to Miami Beach, and the moms squashed it right away. So we see progress, and we're going to try to celebrate where we can.
Liz Collin, WCCO 4 News.
And don't go away, because after this break, Adam will have your weather report and Scott will have your sports update. Stay tuned.
We call her writing Southern Gothic. Flannery O'Connor.
I feel that the grotesque quality of my own work is that I'm a Southern and a Catholic writer.
Flannery's writing is all about original sin, about the human condition. What a mess we are.
Flannery O'Connor's life could have come out of a Flannery O'Connor story.
For the storied life of the writer from Georgia, look for Flannery.
To reveal a mystery.
On American Masters.
Tonight at 8 on WNMU TV.
And welcome back to your Public Eye News weather. I'm Adam Diaz, your weatherman today. And behind me is the soaked NMU campus, but that's not going to break the Wildcat spirit. And taking a look into your current conditions, is currently cloudy. The temperature 39 degrees, winds north-northeast at 7 miles an hour, barometric pressure at 30.04 and falling. Taking a look at tonight, it'll be some rain, the low of 38, winds north at 8 miles an hour. Taking a look at tomorrow, we are going to be looking at some more rain, the high of 53 degrees, winds will be east-southeast at 9 miles an hour. Taking a look across our beautiful UP, starting at Sault Ste. Marie at 53 degrees and partly cloudy, and side of Manistee 53 and cloudy, Escanaba 54 and partly cloudy, Menominee at that 55 and cloudy, and going over to Iron Mountain at 55, or 45 inside Menominee, 55 inside Iron Mountain, and then going to Ironwood at 47, cloudy, Houghton also at 43 and cloudy, and going over to beautiful Marquette at 39 and cloudy. Take a look into your week ahead. Thursday would be the high of 32, the low of 26 and cloudy. Friday, the high of 30, the low of 24, and so see some snow showers. And Saturday, the high of 45, the low of 31, and mostly cloudy. And now let's send it over to Scott Minshaw with your sports.
Thank you very much, Adam. The University of Michigan is now the last Big Ten team alive in the March Madness tournament. After taking down LSU last night, the #1 seeded Wolverines were able to beat them 86-78, thanks in part to Wake Forest transfer Chandi Brown. Brown came off the bench and scored 21 points for the Wolverines, including starting a pivotal 9-0 run that sealed the win for Michigan. The Big Ten Conference started with multiple teams high-ranked in the tournament, but after upsets through the last 2 rounds, Michigan is now the last standing team of the Big Ten. An NHL game between the Oilers and Canadiens have been put on hold due to COVID-19 protocols. The game, which was scheduled for last night, has been postponed due to multiple Montreal players being placed in a coronavirus protocol. Currently, there are no Edmonton players on the protocol list. There have been no makeup dates set for the game yet. Up to date, there have been 43 games postponed since the NHL season began in January. That number includes 38 games postponed due to COVID-19 protocol and 5 games due to weather-related issues. Former NHL wide receiver Josh Gordon, who was suspended indefinitely in 2019 for using performance-enhancing drugs, has revealed he is training for a return to the league. Gordon went on Adam Schefter's podcast where he said he is training in Florida to be prepared if a team decides to sign him. When Schefter asked if Gordon was clean, referring to his past of performance-enhancing drugs, Gordon assured Schefter he was not using any drugs. Gordon said he hopes to get back into football in some capacity, whether it be playing, coaching, or any other type of involvement. Well, there's a lot going on in the sports world right now. Caden, who do you got winning March Madness?
I personally don't participate in that, but I have been seeing a lot of upsets recently with a lot of my friends.
You know, we're up here in Michigan, so I'm going to have to root for the Wolverines. We would love to see a Big Ten team win for once. Well, that's all the time we have for today. On behalf of everyone down here at WNMU Channel 13, I'm Scott Minshaw.
And I'm Caden Minus.
Thank you for tuning in today, and tune in tomorrow for another edition of Public Eye News.
The preceding program was produced by WNMU TV, Northern Michigan University Public Television, in studios located in Elizabeth and Edgar Hardin Hall.